In 2023, we're going to get a new Chevy Colorado, a new GMC Canyon, and quite possibly a new Toyota Tacoma. But until then, the newest mid-size pickup truck that you can buy right now is this, the Nissan Frontier. So for obvious reasons, I can't compare it against those new trucks, but how does the Frontier stack up against the current generation of those mid-size trucks? Well, let's go for a drive and find out. Most of the Nissan Frontier is all new, except for one part that's a carryover from the previous generation, and that is the powertrain. The engine and the transmission were introduced in the previous generation, but they were introduced really late in the model year. I think in the last or second to last year of that generation. So technically you can say that this is also a new engine and transmission combination. Speaking of which, the engine is a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6, and it produces 310 horsepower and 281 pound-feet of torque. With this truck weighing just over 2 tons, the engine has enough grunt to get it going, whether it's off the line or on highways when you want to overtake another vehicle. You just gently put your foot down, the transmission downshifts a couple of gears, and away you go. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to tow or carry really heavy loads in the bed, so I can't really comment on how it feels when it's loaded up. But when it's unloaded, plenty of power. And as for the 9-speed automatic, shifts are nice and smooth, and it reacts quickly enough of a stab with the throttle. If you want to take over the shifting with the gear selector by moving it into manual mode, it's a little bit of a delay, maybe half a second before the transmission actually shifts. Maybe even more than half a second. So best to just leave it in D and let the computer decide which gear is best. Although the Frontier has a 9-speed automatic transmission, the fuel economy is not that much better than that of the Toyota Tacoma, and the Tacoma has to make do with a 6-speed automatic. I managed to average 13.2 liters per 100 kilometers during my time with the Nissan Frontier, which is nearly identical to that of the previous crew cab Frontier that I drove earlier in the year. Around corners, the Nissan Frontier feels pretty composed. This Pro-4X comes with Bilstein shocks, so they do resist quite a lot of body roll and nosedive under heavy braking, and they keep the body nice and flat on curvy roads like this one. The one thing that I don't like about the driving experience of this truck is the comfort, which I'll get to in a bit, but at slow speeds, the steering is just too heavy. It requires too much effort to actually maneuver the truck when you're parking, for example. Other trucks, the steering gets nice and light, so it makes it really easy to park and maneuver it. But in this one, it's pretty heavy. It does get lighter as soon as you start driving, so it doesn't feel quite as straining, but again, slow speeds, other trucks, they don't feel like how this Frontier feels. Off-road, the 2022 Nissan Frontier Pro-4X is equipped with skid plates, recovery hooks, the aforementioned Bilstein shocks, and an electronic locking rear differential. The rear diff can only be locked when the truck is in 4-low mode and does not lock automatically. And in the snow, of course, it's pretty fun to slide the truck around. As for the bed, it is a 6-footer. The tailgate is damped, but it's not any sort of trick tailgate. It doesn't have a step or any sort of inboard cargo storage or anything like that. There are 4 tie-down points, 1 on each corner, but they're bolted on. They're not welded or bonded on like in some other pickup trucks. You do have bed lighting, 1 on either side and also 1 from the top. There's also these rails on all 3 sides, which you can add cleats or other tie-down points so you can properly secure your load. And there's a power outlet right here on this side. So pretty standard bed in the Nissan Frontier. Now onto the ride comfort of the Nissan Frontier. It is quite firm. So like I said earlier, these Bilstein shocks do a great job of resisting body roll and nosedive on their braking, but they transfer pretty much every little minute crack and bump that's on the road into the cabin. Right now I'm on a pretty smooth road, but every little bump and crack in the road gets transferred into the cabin, and I can feel all of it. Now, unfortunately, I cannot comment on how the non-Pro-4X versions of the Frontier are because I haven't driven one of those. The previous one that I drove was also a Pro-4X, which had the Bilstein shocks, and so does this one. So perhaps the other ones that are non-Pro-4X are a little bit smoother, but all I can say is that this Pro-4X has a firm ride. However, counteracting the ride are the seats. They're actually really comfortable. They have plenty of padding, so they're nice and soft. It doesn't feel like they're digging into my back or into my side. So yeah, you can go for long road trips in this truck and still feel pretty comfortable thanks to the seats. On paper, the 2022 Nissan Frontier has a little bit less headroom and legroom in the front row than its closest rivals from Toyota and GM. However, at 6'4", I have no real issues with space. My minor complaint is with the steering wheel, as it does not have any sort of telescopic adjustability, only tilt. As for the back seats, they're just for when you find yourself in a pinch and need to carry two more of your friends or family members, or if you really want to torture someone. Clearly, at 6'4", I am way too tall for those back seats. You'd have to detach my legs and head from my torso in order for me to have any sort of comfort in those back seats. Hence why they should only really be used when you find yourself in a pinch and need to carry a couple of your friends after, say, a New Year's party, for example. This 2022 Nissan Frontier King Cab Pro-4X 4x4 starts at $45,598 Canadian, and the only option is the $300 Tactical Green Metallic Paint. For 2023, the price of this King Cab Pro-4X has increased by $1,000 Canadian. Unfortunately, this cab configuration with the Pro-4X trim is not available in the United States. The Pro-4X is only available as a crew cab in the US. For the money, this King Cab has almost the same features as the crew cab version of the Pro-4X, but it is missing a couple of things. Similarities include satellite navigation, surround view cameras, although they are low resolution, not high resolution, heated front seats, heated steering wheel, dual zone automatic climate control, wireless phone charging, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, but neither of them are wireless. What's different is that this King Cab is not available with a sunroof, and the luxury package is not available either. This would have added leather upholstery, a 10-speaker audio system, garage door opener, dimming rear view mirror, and unique interior trim pieces. The base trim of the Nissan Frontier has almost every safety feature and driver aid that is available on this truck. These include automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot sensors, lane departure warning, rear cross-traffic alert, rear parking sensors, rear automatic braking, and adaptive cruise control. The only features that this Pro-4X trim adds are the surround view cameras and traffic sign recognition. And finally, the warranty is 3 years, 60,000 km basic, and 5 years, 100,000 km powertrain. In the United States, these are 3 years, 36,000 miles, and 5 years, 60,000 miles respectively. So although Nissan took what feels like an eternity to give us a new Frontier, it seems like it was time well spent. This new truck is a big upgrade over the previous generation, and it is much, much better. It's not perfect though. The ride is just a little bit too firm, and the fuel economy could be just a tiny bit better. But overall, this is a great truck, and like I said at the start of the video, it's one of the newest ones that you can buy right now. But only time will tell how it compares against the new crop of Colorado, Canyon, and Tacoma trucks. But until then, if you'd like to know more about this Nissan Frontier, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck, or most likely it'll be an SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video, if I can still see after this one.